What's important is first to tell you why. Why did we get these totally bizarre images that Meghan Markle is calling springing into summer? It's because she wants to overshadow her own husband. I'm almost speechless.
Oh man, it's so funny, Dan. It's so funny.
The reason Meghan Markle is losing favor with the public is because she's so out of touch with the real issues Americans have in this country. All she does is complain about how she's bullied, she's trolled, life is so hard, she has no privacy, the paparazzi.
650,000 jars. That's the amount of unsold inventory Newsweek reported was sitting behind Meghan Markle's As Ever brand back in January. Reports estimated it could represent around $21 million worth of jam, tea, and edible flower sprinkles that still hadn't found buyers. Now fast forward to what appeared on her social media this week.
The real reason why Meghan Markle made that totally bizarre Instagram post overnight with new pictures of her sort of lying with her face covered, weird shots of the garden, of course, Harry and a very odd looking Archie with a football ball. Oh yeah, that's her. We're going to get to the outfit, don't worry. And the chopping of the onions and the dirty t-shirt.
Out of nowhere came a bright, sun-soaked family photo collection. Harry smiling in the garden, peaceful outdoor moments, cooking clips, flowers, and warm golden hour pictures that looked like everything was perfect. But people quickly noticed something surprising. The oldest photo in that collection dates all the way back to 2017, meaning it was around 9 years old. Even more interesting, the post arrived on the exact same morning. Prince Harry received one of the biggest positive headlines he's had in years after making Time's list of the most influential people in sport.
Now, the most devastating image of all of them, and many of them are compromising and shocking, is an image of Harry showing him to be utterly miserable. But there is a shocking twist. You will not believe it. Also, in just a moment, I'm going to reveal the sinister messaging behind the photograph of Lily, with Meghan effectively calling her a queen, which spells big trouble for the royal family going forward.
That doesn't automatically prove anything, but it certainly got people talking. And that's the question nobody seems eager to answer. Out of those reported 650,000 jars, how many have actually been sold? Stick around, because once you start connecting the dots, this story becomes much more interesting than it first appears.
For her to be competing against Harry, she's always been after Harry's attention. That's why she hangs on to him like a limpet, why she attaches herself to him like a koala bear. You know, there is a constant need to touch Harry, and people at first said, oh, look, that's sweet. And then people started seeing, oh, she's actually controlling him. She's getting him to move in different directions. She's getting him to move out of the way. But also, it puts the attention back on her.
At first glance, it looks completely harmless. Just a family enjoying life together. A relaxing day outside, fresh flowers, home cooking, garden views, and the little ones playing. Nothing unusual until people started looking a little closer. That's when the conversation changed. Royal commentators and longtime Sussex watchers weren't saying, "What a sweet family post." Instead, many immediately started asking, "Why share this now?" That timing became the biggest talking point. And once you notice everything lining up, it's hard not to see why so many people began questioning it. Here's the part that really grabbed everyone's attention.
She cannot cope with the fact that for once, Prince Harry had received a good day of publicity. Being named unbelievably as one of the top 100 influential people in sport by Time magazine, Meghan couldn't cope with it because she wasn't mentioned at all.
On the very same morning that photo carousel appeared, Time magazine announced its very first list of the 100 most influential people in sport. Prince Harry wasn't buried somewhere near the bottom either. He appeared prominently in the leaders category for his work founding the Invictus Games. For once, the biggest headline involving the Sussexes wasn't about controversy. It was about Harry and his work with wounded veterans.
Meghan's narcissism really does shine on through. So of course that's going to affect every aspect of her life. She's going to be that way with her children. That's why Meghan spends thousands and thousands and thousands on herself, her hair, her makeup. You know, this is a woman that, well, she obviously spends a lot of money. She does have terrible fashion choices. But then she allows her children to be presented to the world wearing their pajamas, wearing dirty t-shirts.
During his interview, he spoke openly about how helping others through sport gave him purpose after losing his mother. He explained that the mission helped keep him moving forward during some of the hardest years of his life. For many readers, it was a reminder of the version of Harry they used to admire. It was positive publicity that can't simply be created overnight. Then, only hours later, the family photo collection appeared. Suddenly, Harry was everywhere across the post, standing in the garden, kicking a ball, smiling with his family. The internet immediately started connecting the timing.
Why does she cut onions like this? I have no idea, but we are going to review this, as well as what is Meghan Markle trying to tell the world by posting a photo like this. We're going to address this. And perhaps one of the quirkiest, most mysterious ones are, why would she hire or at least recommend a younger and cuter lady to promote as overproduction?
Some commentators described it as flooding the zone, suggesting that just as Harry was receiving praise on his own, attention quickly shifted back toward carefully chosen family images. Others argued it was simply a coincidence with no deeper meaning at all. That's what makes this story so fascinating. Depending on who you ask, it's either a perfectly innocent family update or timing that was just a little too perfect to ignore. Maybe it really was just a wife sharing family memories. But critics point out that Meghan has spent years carefully managing her public image, deciding exactly what people see, when they see it, and how it's presented. Because of that, many royal watchers aren't convinced the timing was simply random.
The Duke and Duchess of Scamelot, their favorability has plummeted in the United States. Let me read you these statistics. They have plummeted from 37% to 29% in the eyes of Americans, right? Now, visitors on Meghan Markle's site, her web traffic has allegedly dropped from 108,000 in December to 61,500 in April, and we actually have this chart we'll put up on the screen. We're very legit over here. I feel like I need a laser pointer. We have charts and diagrams and dioramas up in here. I don't even need the charts to tell you the truth.
Now let's move away from the photos and look at something much harder to ignore: the numbers. That's where this story starts getting really interesting. First, there's public opinion. According to YouGov polling reported by Newsweek, Meghan's favorability in the United States dropped from 37% to 29% in just 2 quarters. At the same time, the percentage of people with an unfavorable opinion increased from 22% to 27%.
Meghan has been relatively quiet. I see that she's trying to establish herself as a motherly figure, constant photos of Archie and Lily, just the back of their head, primarily Lily, because Archie's going to write Spare 2.0 one day. He's going to be like, what about me?
Those 2 changes combined caused her overall net rating to fall sharply, dropping from a healthy positive 15 to just positive 2. For someone who relocated to California hoping to build a major public profile, those numbers have sparked plenty of discussion. They suggest that winning over the American audience may have become much more difficult than many expected. Then there's the business side of the story. Traffic to the As Ever website didn't slowly decline. It dropped fast.
Is there a danger that Meghan's actually not just being quiet, but becoming a bit boring?
Oh, I think she's always been boring.
Boring. She's irrelevant.
Yeah.
She's on the cusp of being irrelevant.
Reports showed around 108,000 American visitors in December. That slipped to about 89,000 in January, then roughly 83,500 in February. March brought a small recovery to around 94,000 visitors, but by April the number had fallen again to approximately 61,500. That's close to cutting the site's traffic nearly in half within just 4 months.
I do think she's trying to establish herself as a more likable character to push back from the Vanity Fair pieces in The Hollywood Reporter about what a tyrant boss she was. So I think she's always been boring. I just think that there's been a real shift in their strategy to do more philanthropy and to be more family-oriented, to try to soften their image after so many negative stories about how they were terrible collaborators, professional.
Looking at the bigger picture makes the numbers even more surprising. From January through May, the website reportedly attracted just under 392,000 American visitors in total. Compare that with reports of around 650,000 products sitting in inventory earlier this year, and many commentators say the figures raise obvious questions about demand. That's where another theory started spreading online. Critics argue that Meghan's public image has become too closely tied to ongoing complaints and public disputes. They point to repeated conversations about online abuse, privacy concerns, media treatment, and life after leaving the royal family.
The reason Meghan Markle is losing favor with the public is because she's so out of touch with the real issues Americans have in this country. All she does is complain about how she's bullied, she's trolled, life is so hard, she has no privacy, the paparazzi.
Whether that's a fair assessment or not, several commentators believe those topics have started overshadowing everything else. Some royal panels didn't hold back either. They described her as boring, irrelevant, and even claimed she had become America's problem now. Those opinions are certainly strong, but they reflect the kind of criticism that often grows louder when business numbers and public approval appear to weaken. One writer even compared Meghan to Anne Boleyn, presenting her as an outsider who had been treated unfairly by a powerful institution. The comparison was clearly intended as sympathy, But once it reached television panels and social media discussions, many critics took that same comparison in a completely different direction, turning it into another debate instead.
I really don't think there would be almost any traffic to the website if they weren't sending packages to influencers, which is interesting because I feel like Meghan Markle loves to trash influencers and trash online culture, but then she wants to use them to promote her products. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. But here's an influencer, I think her name is Olivia McDowell. This is so not my wheelhouse, but here she is really promoting Meghan Markle's products. And I just don't think there's a lot of genuine love for Meghan Markle's products. I think most of it is AstroTurf.
And that brings us back to the number this entire video revolves around. Earlier this year, online users claimed they discovered an apparent flaw on the As Ever website. According to reports, visitors could attempt to place unusually large quantities of products into their shopping cart, and the website would indicate how many units were available. Based on those observations, people estimated that more than 650,000 items were sitting in inventory back in January. At listed retail prices, that reportedly represented around $21.8 million worth of jam, tea, wine, and flour sprinkles still waiting to be purchased.
She's not hawking homemade jam that was made in some facility in Chicago, Illinois, and tastes a little squirrely. She only pursues businesses that make her shine and make her and the family look good.
Let's put those numbers into perspective for a second. Reports suggest the warehouse held more products back in January than the total number of American visitors who came to the As Ever website during the first 5 months of the year. Think about that for a moment. More reported inventory than potential shoppers visiting the site. That's the statistic that really caught people's attention. Now here's the important part. Meghan's company has never publicly released official sales figures. Not one. Because of that, nobody outside the business knows exactly how many products have actually been sold. Supporters argue that the brand is performing well and that sales are stronger than critics assume. Others point to the reported inventory estimates and question whether demand has matched expectations.
This is ultimately a rehabilitation trip because I do agree that Harry's desperate to return to the UK. So mentally prepare for plenty of Harry during that week because he's going to be everywhere trying to change public perception of him, especially in the UK where he polls horrifically right now.
Without official numbers, both sides are left making their own arguments. Then there's another detail people keep bringing up. Social media has been filled with glowing reviews and cheerful unboxing videos showing As Ever products. But many of those posts came from influencers who reportedly received free promotional packages. There's nothing unusual about brands sending products to creators for reviews, but it has led some viewers to wonder how much of the online excitement reflects genuine customer demand and how much comes from marketing campaigns. The conversation became even louder after another major development. In March, Netflix, which helped launch With Love Meghan and promoted the As Ever brand alongside the series, reportedly decided not to continue as an investor. Around the same time, the cooking show was not renewed for another season. For critics, that raised even more questions about the long-term future of the project. Many people also looked back at Meghan's previous partnership with Spotify. That reported multi-million-dollar deal ended after producing only a limited number of podcast episodes.
I think that it's blackmail. I think that saying, I'm not bringing my wife and children over unless you give me what I want is extortion. Harry has a pretty good situation with Ravik. He has to give them 28 days notice and a copy of his itinerary, and based on the current circumstances, they determine whether or not an armed security guard is waiting for him upon his arrival and will follow him throughout his trip. The likelihood that he would get that armed security if he arrives with his wife and children is incredibly high.
Because of that history, some commentators argue they're seeing a familiar pattern play out once again. A major company helps launch a project with huge attention. Excitement builds quickly, but then the partnership eventually comes to an end before reaching the level many expected. Of course, supporters see it very differently. They argue that every business experiences setbacks, that website traffic doesn't automatically equal sales, and that growing a new lifestyle brand takes time. Those are fair points, especially since the company hasn't released complete financial information. Still, critics counter with another observation. They argue that it's unusual for a major investor to step away and for a flagship show to end during what should be one of a brand's biggest growth periods. Whether that's a sign of deeper business challenges or simply part of normal business decisions remains open to debate. Now think back to that family photo collection. This is where many commentators believe everything connects. If public approval is slipping, business numbers are raising questions, and major partnerships are changing, what usually happens next?
Harry wasn't at the wedding. Harry was not invited. It wasn't that he was too busy. He was not invited. This family's moved on.
According to critics, the focus often shifts towards something more positive. In this case, they point to the carefully selected family photos, peaceful garden scenes, warm sunshine, and smiling moments with Harry. Some even noticed that one of the featured pictures dated back to 2017, leading them to question why such an old image was included now. For those critics, that small date became the biggest talking point of all. They argue it wasn't just another family memory being shared. Instead, they believe the timing encouraged people to focus on happy personal moments rather than the ongoing discussions surrounding the business. Whether that interpretation is correct or simply another internet theory is something viewers will have to decide for themselves, but it's certainly one reason this photo collection sparked so much attention. That's why so many critics keep asking the same question. Was that family photo collection really just an innocent update, or was it shared at exactly the right moment to shift the conversation? Nobody outside Meghan's team knows the answer, but the timing has certainly kept people talking. What's especially interesting is that Harry's story seemed to be moving in the opposite direction. While Meghan's brand was facing growing questions, Harry was receiving something far more difficult to earn than publicity: genuine recognition for his work with the Invictus Games. His efforts supporting wounded servicemen and women once again became the focus, and many people praised the project for the positive impact it has had over the years. Even Harry himself has said that the organization gave him purpose during some of the hardest periods of his life. Then another wave of reports started making headlines. According to multiple reports published that same week, Harry was hoping to return to the United Kingdom. He's expected to be involved in Invictus events connected to the road toward the 2027 Birmingham Games, and reports claimed he wanted to use the opportunity to spend time with his father while he still could, following ongoing concerns about the King's health. Harry has spoken publicly before about wanting to repair family relationships.
William's ruthless. William wants rid of the Yorks. He has no time for his uncle, the disgraced former Prince Andrew. He has no time for Sarah Ferguson. And he is frosty to these two princesses. It's interesting. He did kiss one. He kissed Beatrice. My reporting is Beatrice got a very quick peck on the cheek, and then he wanted nothing to do.
During his BBC interview last year, he said, "Life is precious," adding that he would welcome reconciliation because, in his words, there was no point fighting anymore. Those comments attracted huge attention, but wanting reconciliation and actually achieving it are two very different things. The distance within the family has become impossible to ignore. The last time Harry appeared publicly alongside Prince William was during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in September 2022. Years have now passed since that moment, and according to widespread reports, Harry's offspring have had very limited opportunities to spend time with their grandfather. Security remains another major obstacle. Harry has repeatedly argued that his family needs official protection while visiting Britain. After losing his legal challenge over security arrangements, he told the BBC he was devastated by the outcome and admitted he struggled to imagine bringing Meghan and the little ones back to the UK under the current system. Decisions are handled through the committee known as RAVEC, with requests reportedly considered individually, requiring advance notice and offering no guaranteed outcome. Earlier this year, several newspapers suggested that approval for future visits could be relatively straightforward. But months later, reports indicated that no final agreement had been reached. Some reports even claimed Harry believes his father could help resolve the situation more easily. Buckingham Palace, however, has consistently maintained that security decisions are handled by the government rather than the king personally. That's been the official position throughout the debate. As things stand, reports continue to suggest that Meghan and the offspring are unlikely to travel unless suitable security arrangements are confirmed.
Between the Prince of Football, David Beckham, or the Prince of Windsor, Harry, they're going to go with David Beckham. David Beckham's going to be here in America for FIFA, for the World Cup. He's probably the biggest football, soccer star in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody wants him at their event.
If those reports are accurate, it creates a remarkable contrast. A prince who once traveled freely around the world is now facing complicated negotiations simply to visit his own family. Whether people agree with his position or not, it's a situation very few could have imagined years ago. Then, another royal event highlighted just how much has changed. On June 6th, members of the royal family gathered in the Cotswolds for the wedding of Peter Phillips, the late Queen's eldest grandchild. Prince William attended alongside Princess Catherine. King Charles and Queen Camilla were there as well, along with Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. it became another major family gathering that Harry and Meghan did not attend. The timing drew even more attention because it came during the same week that fresh reports focused on financial questions surrounding Prince Andrew, including renewed discussion of his long-term lease arrangements and properties connected to his residence. Even with those separate headlines dominating parts of the news cycle, the royal family still appeared together publicly, while Harry remained thousands of miles away. According to several reports, that family gathering sent a powerful message. While the royal family appeared united, Harry was nowhere to be seen. By many accounts, he wasn't expected to attend, and commentators quickly started asking what that absence really meant. Whether by circumstance or choice, the contrast was impossible to ignore. Reports suggest one reason may have been Peter Phillips's close relationship with Prince William. Over the years, the two have reportedly built a strong bond, and several royal commentators argued there was little chance that such a family celebration would become the setting for a reunion between William and Harry. Whether that's accurate or not, it became another reminder of just how distant the brothers appear today. Then the discussion moved beyond family events. Some reports have also claimed Harry may not be among the high-profile guests at certain FIFA World Cup-related events this summer, although no official guest list has been confirmed. Instead, many commentators have pointed to David Beckham as someone who continues to enjoy a strong relationship with the royal family. Beckham has represented the monarchy at several major occasions, and his long-standing connection with the royals has only become stronger in recent years. That comparison has sparked plenty of conversation online, after past reports claimed there had been tension between the Sussexes and the Beckhams over alleged media leaks. Many royal watchers believe the relationship cooled significantly.
They blew it. They blew it. They were literally handed the world on an oyster. People forget. This wedding was embraced by the world. There was no bad blood. King Charles walked her down the aisle after her father was no longer invited. 1 billion people. I was in Britain at the time of the wedding. Maureen, the people on the streets were cheering for her. They were buying tea towels with her face on it and coffee mugs. There was no racism, or at least overtly so. I mean, there always is issues, but the overwhelming support from the British public was absolutely theirs, and they blew it.
Those reports have never been fully confirmed by everyone involved, but they continue to be discussed whenever both families make headlines. For critics, the bigger picture isn't about one event or one invitation. They argue it's about a noticeable pattern. Harry and Meghan are no longer regular faces at many of the celebrity events and royal occasions where they once might have been expected. Whether it's Hollywood gatherings, major royal celebrations, or other high-profile appearances, commentators say the list of invitations seems much shorter than it once was. One royal insider was quoted this week saying the couple were handed the world on a plate and they blew it. That's certainly a harsh opinion, but it reflects how some critics view the choices the couple have made over the past several years. Now take a step back and look at everything together. This story was never just about one Instagram post. During the same week, Meghan's lifestyle brand continued facing questions about public support and reported inventory levels. Poll numbers remained a frequent topic of discussion. Harry, meanwhile, received positive recognition for his work with the Invictus Games and once again spoke about the importance of family and reconciliation. At the same time, another major royal family event took place without him. That's why the timing of the photo collection attracted so much attention. Some commentators believe it was simply a personal family update shared with followers. Others believe it conveniently redirected attention toward warm family moments, just as several difficult conversations were dominating headlines. Both interpretations continue to be debated. Whatever the explanation may be, one question still hangs over the entire discussion. Reports earlier this year suggested there were around 650,000 products sitting in inventory. Since the company has not released official sales numbers, the public still doesn't know how much of that stock has since been sold. Until those figures become available, that question is likely to keep coming up. Everything discussed in this video is based on publicly reported information, while the conclusions and opinions remain open to interpretation. That's what keeps this story alive, because everyone seems to see the same events through a different lens. Now I want to hear what you think. Was that family photo collection simply an innocent personal post? Or do you think the timing was intended to shift attention away from other headlines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe because there are plenty more royal stories coming very soon.